So, hey everybody, I get the wave. You can kind of see my reflection on the book. So, this is Scott, a comic book hangover, and I'm going to be doing another sort of rundown of another batch of horror-themed comics that I have in my collection. This round, of course, is going to be Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies, for those who don't know, started in Ultimate Fantastic Four back in the day when Ultimate Fantastic Four was a thing. And what Marvel had done to introduce this idea was they had sort of teased the idea that the Ultimate Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, was going to meet the 616, or the real sort of Reed Richards. They teased it without saying it outright. And when the issue finally came out, turned out that it wasn't the 616 Reed Richards, it was a Marvel Zombies Reed Richards, and he had tricked Ultimate Richards into sort of opening a doorway into his reality, because the food supply had run out, and they had wanted to find another reality so that the zombies could have more food to eat. So the whole thing was a trick, and introduced Marvel Zombies, and Marvel Zombies became its own Marvel Comics franchise, and became quite a big thing. And one of my favorite things that came out back in the day. So I'm going to go through all the Marvel Zombies books that I have, and just some of them I'll give an opinion on, some of them I'm just going to show the covers, because most of these books have some amazing covers for them. So starting off, wanting to say that I put my Marvel Zombies books in, just like my Chaos books, I put them in more of a story chronological order as opposed to any kind of a straight-up alphabetical order, so some of these might be out of place. This one being the exception. This is Marvel Zombie. This is one of the more recent ones. It's also kind of a throwaway story. Had an amazing cover, and I looked forward to it. I read it, and it just did not deliver for me. So it was just kind of a stupid throwaway story used to prop up some new character. She's new in the Marvel Universe. I don't even remember who she was. I don't really care. That was a character that I just have no interest in. So, great cover, bad story, moving on. So, you got Marvel Zombies Dead Days. Dead Days chronologically sort of starts the whole thing. In this one here, the zombie virus first hits, and it just spreads like wildfire. So, if you're wanting to get in on sort of the ground floor as far as the actual story goes, Marvel Zombies Dead Days, this is the way to go. And of course, this is going to have a fold-out, sort of a gatefold cover, a zombified version of the Jim Lee X-Men book from the 90s. So if you're ever interested, if you want to see a zombified version of the X-Men covers, this is it. So from there, from Dead Days, we go to the Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness. Now, Army of Darkness had a series back in the day from Dynamite Comics. It's not one that I can really push or promote because of certain shenanigans with Dynamite. Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, they don't get any royalties from this book, so it's not really one that I can support. But I was reading it up until I found out about that, and so the Marvel Zombies series ended, I think, with issue 13, and it ended with Ash being killed, and it being killed in his universe and somehow being saved and being thrust into the Marvel Zombies universe. So this picks up from that issue, and it basically shows that the Marvel Zombies, the zombie virus, probably could have been stopped had it not been for Ash. When you read the book, you'll understand. So with these books here, they sort of sneak Ash into zombified versions of iconic Marvel covers, starting with Days of Future Past. And then you've got, there's Ash back there in this iconic cover. And this one, if I remember right, and I probably do, this is sort of a Marvel DC crossover, replacing a character with Ash. You've got the Return of Captain America with Ash, because, Ash makes everything cool. Wolverine #1, Ash kind of making fun of him back there. And then you get into the proper series. Now, this isn't the first print. This is second print. First print I showed last week in another video, so I haven't put it back in the box yet. So when Marvel Zombies started, the first issue sold like wildfire, and it went into multiple printings. Most of the first series actually went into multiple printings, except for, I believe, the second issue. So we've got second print. This is Todd McFarlane, Marvel SpiderMan #1. The first couple of runs of Marvel Zombies, the first batch of covers rather, did parody classic and more iconic Marvel covers. So you got an Amazing Spider-Man, These are great covers. Great covers. There's an Incredible Hulk. And before True Believers, Marvel did Marvel's Greatest Comics. So this would be the first time that Marvel Zombies #1 was reprinted, and Amazing Fantasy 15. And then I don't have it here because I keep all my True Believers books in a different section of my collection, but they did the whole thing again with True Believers. So Marvel Zombies #1 has been reprinted numerous times. Then we finally get to issue 2, classic Captain America Avengers cover. Then we've got issue 3, first print, second print. And one thing I've noticed about these early covers is there's always something to do with eyeballs. Like going back to this one here, you've got zombie Wolverine with eyeballs in his mouth. And there's Incredible Hulk, he's got eyeballs in his mouth. Kind of squishy, kind of gross, but it's zombies, so it's okay. Then we finally get to issue 4. This is a cover that nobody remembers at all, but they decided to do a Marvel Zombies homage to it. And this one actually is kind of funny. It's the second print for issue 4. You've got there's zombie Spider-Man Peter Parker with a tongue sticking out of his mouth, and if you look at zombie Green Goblin, he's holding a fork. That's just wrong on so many levels. Then you've got probably one of my favorite covers from the original Marvel Zombies run. This is an Amazing Spider-Man annual, the wedding of Mary Jane and Peter Parker. And you see that Mary Jane, she just didn't have the guts to marry him. So it happens once in a while. Second printing of issue 5, and this was the last issue for the first Marvel Zombies series. Great Silver Surfer cover. Then you go into Marvel Zombies 2, because we're going to have a good follow-up. You just got to have that number 2. And more Marvel homage covers and more eyeballs. So you've got that one, Civil War. You're going back sometime, Marvel Comics. And you've got an Iron Man. That's just awesome. Who dies? He dies, he walks, he devours. And, of course, still more eyeballs. And this may be my favorite cover from Marvel Zombies 2. This is a nice Steranko homage. And then you've got this iconic covers, Zombie Surfer versus Zombie Thor. Then you get into probably my favorite run of covers. All the covers in Marvel Zombies 3 were homages to horror movie posters. So you've got an assault, anything that features Aaron Stack and Jocasta. But this is Army of Darkness. And then you get the second print for that. I love those second prints. They're pretty awesome. Third print. Oh, wait, no, that's not a second print. That's just a variant cover. This is a generic variant cover. So then you get the second print. This is when Marvel started doing the cheats, where instead of doing a really cool cover for a second print, they would just take a panel from a page inside the book and make that the cover. It was Marvel Zombies, so I picked it up. So then we got issue. Hang on, I'm missing an issue somewhere here. Oh, let's put these back in order. Something happened. 28 Days Later, issue 2, and issue 3, Evil Dead, the original. Great cover. I love that cover. And then issue 4 was Shaun of the Dead. And then Marvel Zombies 4. This is kind of really when they started to tie in the Marvel Zombies universe to the 616 universe. They brought in the Midnight Suns with a new cast of characters. So you got that one. Some interesting Greg Land covers. And it's always nice to see Man-Thing getting involved in something. And issue 4, Marvel Zombies 4, number 4. And then you've got Marvel Zombies 5. Another 5-issue miniseries. And this one, it's been a while since I've read this one, but I think this is one where they kind of they teamed up Machine Man with Howard the Duck, and they were going through different realities trying to find a way to stop this whole thing. So they were going through different realities and showing different versions of the Marvel Zombies virus. So you'd have your traditional zombies, you'd have your demon-based zombies like Evil Dead, you'd have your sci-fi zombies, you'd have robot zombies, and then in the 5th issue, which I think I only have the variant cover for, the 5th issue, they came to, if I recall correctly, they came to our world where there were no zombies. So it was kind of an interesting story. And Howard continued with Dum Dum Dugan from S.H.I.E.L.D., and they decided to just take the whole Marvel Zombies concept and kind of turn it on its ear. So they just really went to town with the Marvel Zombies thing. So you have the Ducky Dozen fighting Nazi zombies. And if memory serves, this is one where they went into a reality war. The Nazis won World War II because they used zombies. And again, it's been forever since I've read some of these books, but this was one of my favorite miniseries. And I absolutely love this cover. We've got everybody chasing Howard and Dum Dum. That's great. And the chase continues with a really wicked looking zombie Thor and his zombie goats there. So with Marvel Zombies Return, they go back to the original Marvel Zombies and show what happened to them. At the end of Marvel Zombies 2, they all got launched out of their universe and into other realities, and this is the miniseries where they kind of showed what happened to them and what realities they went into. The Zombie SpiderMan one it's definitely one that stands out. It's very, we'll say, very icky. It's basically, what if the Marvel Zombie SpiderMan ended up in the classic Lee Ditko era of Spider-Man, and it was not pretty. You've got a really nice Iron Man cover there. Wolverine. And Hulk with everybody. And finally, Hulk versus Marvel Zombies, I guess. So it's been a while since I've read these. Then you get into Marvel Zombies Supreme, another reality, another zombies. It's had Jack of Hearts in it, which to me was the only high point of this one. This is probably my second least favorite one. We're going to get in my absolute least favorite Marvel Zombies book here in a second. But some nice covers, but Marvel Zombies Supreme was pretty forgettable. Had Jack of Hearts in it again. It's the only thing that kept me going through with that, and it was Marvel Zombies. So, then you've got Secret Wars, kind of a throwaway miniseries. It had Elsa Bloodstone from Next Wave in it. That was kind of a plus. But the whole Secret Wars thing, I think I stopped buying this the event partway through, but I stuck with Marvel Zombies because it's Marvel Zombies. Then you've got the this one shot here, the Book of Angels, Demons, and Various Monstrosities, talking about Marvel Zombies and other nastiness that exists within the Marvel Universe, Marvel Multiverse. Then you've got the Marvel Zombies versus Marvel Apes, Evil Evolution. This is my absolute least favorite Marvel Zombies book. It was really, when you talk about a story that's just a total waste of time, you go through the entire story, and then at the end of it, they do some time travel thing that completely negates the whole story. I really don't like those. I was really not big on the whole Marvel Apes thing either. It was just kind of stupid. Then they did a Marvel Zombies Halloween special, which was really interesting. It was another reality, and it focused on a mother and her child as they tried to survive the Marvel Zombies, and the little boy just wanted to go out and trick-or-treat for Halloween. This one's kind of an interesting one. It's in sort of a manga version of Marvel Zombies. This is a 0 issue that kind of started the whole thing, and just like regular manga, the spine is over here. So this is the in the American version, this would be the back of the book. You read it forwards to backwards, just like you would a manga. And this one, it's Marvel Zombies, or just Zombies Assemble. This was the MCU version of the Avengers, and they're facing off against a zombie virus. And I think this one was it takes place in the MCU chronology, takes place after the first Avengers movie. While there is searching and researching the alien technology, the one thing led to another series of events, as always happens. But the alien technology sort of mutated and started creating these sort of zombie characters. And of course, as fun as that was, it was successful. So they did a Zombies Assemble 2. Some more really great covers, and this one takes place in the MCU. But of course, they fixed the whole situation so you can enjoy it without worrying about any lasting effects as far as what affects the movies. And that just kind of wraps it up as well. Another book that I didn't have in here was the Marvel Zombies vs. Army of Darkness #1. I have it signed by Arthur Sadum, but it's as a second print signed by Arthur Sadum, I think. And I had that up on my wall, so I just haven't had a chance to put that back together again. Put that back with the rest of my books, yeah. So those are all my Marvel Zombies books that I have. Have a couple of the hardcovers as well. This is reprinting the first series. This is like the second printing of the hardcover. Another thing that made Marvel Zombies historic as well is it was the first time that Marvel had ever ended up doing multiple printings of a hardcover. Usually they would wait wait a little while and just kind of re-release it. But this one was the first print. There was a second print. It went into like 3 or 4 printings, which was at the time was unheard of for a hardcover reprint series. And they also did this book here. This is just covers. And this is how much of a fan of the Marvel Zombies I am. This was just, let's see if I can get into this here. This just shows you the various Marvel Zombies covers. It gives you the cover, gives you the original cover, and a little bit about it as well. And it just goes through all of them. Most of these I do have. The Ultimate Fantastic Four ones I don't have. Some of the other books I do have. There's the... This should have it. Yeah, right there. There's the Dead Days. There's your Marvel Zombies Dead Days cover. So, it's a great book. I have most of these. There's a few that I don't have that I'm on the look for. I'll get them at some point. If I don't get them, then I don't get them. There's also some figures. These mini-mates things. These are the zombie villains. Got a Zombie Galactus, which is something that we've never had really in the comics. Zombie Magneto. Zombie Green Goblin, Zombie Red Skull. I've got some other mini-mates that are the main Marvel Zombies. Colonel America, SpiderMan, Iron Man, Black Panther, Hulk. So those are in my figures cabinet. I just didn't want to get those out. But anyway, there you go. Those are my Marvel Zombies book. Hope you enjoyed the video. Anybody out there who has any of the books that I don't have, definitely share them. I love looking at these Marvel Zombies covers. They're some amazingly well done covers. And again, I know Arthur Sadum is not the most popular person in the industry, but the man's talent cannot be denied. His zombie homage covers are some of my favorites. So anyway, thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, share, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. And we will see you next time with either another one of these sort of videos or maybe next week's new haul video. Who knows? We'll see you later. Bye.